happy people. But even most importantly, if you had breakfast this morning, I can guarantee you that the fruits you had at breakfast were alive and well in their respective gardens as of this time yesterday. It never gets that fresh. So that Ugandan pineapple you missed to enjoy, just know was alive and growing in its garden just yesterday. If you've had the taste of our fish, which I hope is also on the menu for lunch, that fish that's on the menu for lunch is still swimming blissfully in the lake just behind us. Our food can never get any fresher. So ladies and gentlemen, in your respective capacities, once again, it's our pleasure to host you in Uganda. It couldn't have been a better choice, especially if the previous annual session was in Bangkok, Thailand. Make no mistake, we have greater offerings. If you are in doubt, talk to me during the break. In a few minutes, we'll begin the official ceremony, because I am reliably informed that the dignitaries to officiate over this event are in the building. And so mine will be a humble request that at my cue, we will all rise to receive the chief guest, remain upstanding, and go through the protocols of anthems. And if you doubted when that would be, this is the time. Let's be upstanding, all of us. It's my pleasure to invite the Right Honorable Anita Annette Among, the Speaker of the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, representing His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, to officiate and open this 63rd annual session of the Asia-Africa Legal Consultative Organization. Most welcome, ma'am, complete with the party of dignitaries that has escorted you. The anthems. We remain upstanding, for this is a God-fearing nation. And now, the prayer. Let's humble ourselves and get into the prayer. We'll allow you some time to humble yourself as the more holier person than myself steps forward to lead us into this prayer. Thank you.
Let us pray. Gracious and merciful God, we gather here today as representatives of nations from Asia and Africa, seeking wisdom, understanding, and cooperation. We pray for guidance as we deliberate on matters of international law, justice, and mutual respect. Grant us clarity of thought, openness of heart, and a spirit of collaboration as we work towards strengthening legal frameworks and promoting peace and development among our nations. May our discussions be marked by empathy, respect, and a commitment to the well-being of all peoples. Inspire us with visionary ideas and practical solutions that foster harmony and progress. We pray for unity in our diversity and for the strength to address challenges with courage and compassion. May our efforts contribute to a more just and respectful world.
You, Alan Buchana is the resident priest at the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. Now we may take our seats. Right Honorable Speaker of the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, distinguished delegates in all your respective capacities, and from wherever it is that you have come, once again, welcome to the beautiful Republic of Uganda, but even more importantly, welcome to the 63rd annual session of the Asia-Africa Legal Consultative Organization. Without further ado, Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, allow me invite His Excellency Dr. Kamaline Pinat Puval, Secretary General of this distinguished organization, the Asia-Africa Legal Consultative Organization, to present his remarks and welcome us to this session. Most welcome, Kamaline.
Her Excellencies, Right Honorable Anita Annette Amand, Honorable Speaker of Parliament, Republic of Uganda, His Excellencies Kiriyowa Kiwanuka, Attorney General of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellencies Mr. Songchai Chaipatiyut, Deputy Director, Treaty and Legal Department, the Kingdom of Thailand, as President of the 62nd of our session. Her Excellencies Mama Loko Kubayi, Minister of Justice, Republic of South Africa, as Vice President of the 61st annual session. Excellencies, distinguished delegate, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning. It is my great honor and pleasure to welcome this distinguished gathering in the 63rd annual session of the Asian African Legal Consultative Organization held here in Kampala, Republic of Uganda. On behalf of our goal and all our members, I wish to convey our deepest appreciation to the governments and people of Uganda for their gracious hospitality and warm welcome to our delegation. We meet today in the heart of Great Lakes regions on the shores of Lake Victoria, a land that has witnessed centuries of history and the modern aspiration of peace, justice, and development. The warm welcome extended by the governments and people of Uganda is a testament to the solidarity and friendship upon which our goal was founded. Kampala holds a special place in ALCO memory. At the 30th annual session in 1993, our member state, then under the Asian African Legal Consultative Committee, reached consensus on human rights and adopt the Kampala Declaration on Human Rights. This declaration guides common position at the World Conference in Vienna later that year and contribute to the adoption of the Vienna Declaration and programs of action, including the creation of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights. More than 3 decades later, ALCO returns to Kampala at an important crossroads of international law and cooperation, reminding us of the enduring relevance of the Afro-Asian solidarity and the visionary spirit of that historic session. We are especially honored by the presence of Her Excellency, Honorable Speaker of the Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, who has kindly agreed to deliver the inaugural address. Your Excellencies, it is a privilege to welcome you, and we are confident that your inspiring words will guide the success of our deliberation. Excellency, distinguished delegate, over the next 5 days, this session will deliberate on a wide range of issues of shared concern. These include the work of the International Law Commission at its 76th session, the law of the sea, the question of Palestine and related legal issues, environment and sustainable developments, international trade and investment law, the asset recovery expert forum, legal issue in outer space, and the legal protection of migrant workers. In addition, as approved by the head of delegation in their meeting yesterday, 2 new topics have been added to the substantive agenda of this session with a revised formulation, namely, prohibition of aggression and use of force in international law, proposed by the Islamic Republic of Iran, and violation of international law by the Rapid Support Force in Sudan, proposed by the Republic of Sudan. In total, therefore, this session will address 10 substantive topics. Alongside the plenary discussion, a series of side events organized by Uganda and our partners will provide opportunity for deeper exchange and practical capacity building. Excellency, distinguished delegate, this year marked the 70th anniversary of the historic Bandung Conference of 1955, where leaders of Asia and Africa first came together to give voice to our shared aspiration of independence, solidarity, and a fairer international orders. It was from that historic moment that ALCO emerged in 1956, and next year we will celebrate 20 years of ALCO's existence. From 7 founding member states, our organization has grown into a community of 49 member states today, the only permanent intergovernmental forums bringing together Asia and Africa on matters of international law. This milestone invites us not only to honor our past, but also to look forward, to reflect on the role ALCO must continue to play in shaping the legal order of the future. As we gather in this historic moment, 20 years after the Bandung, and as ALCO approaches its 70th anniversary, it is our collective responsibility not only to reflect on the organization's proud legacy, but also to envision its future. ALCO at 70 must therefore look ahead with clarity and purpose, adapting to new realities in, for example, cyberspace, artificial intelligence, climate governance, and global trade, while upholding the timeless principle of sovereignty, solidarity, and justice that inspire our founder. In this way, we ensure that ALCO continue to stand as a credible, inclusive, and forward-looking institution for decades to come. Excellency, distinguished delegate, the challenge of our era, armed conflict, inequality, climate change, pandemic, and rapid technological transformation cannot be addressed by any nation acting alone. They demand dialogue, solidarity, and respect for international law. Guided by the Bandung Spirit, ALCO provides a neutral and impartial platform for Asia and Africa to work together, articulate shared position, and contribute to a fairer and more inclusive global order. By focusing on common interests and mutual respect, ALCO turns diversity into strength. This approach reflects the enduring legacy of the generations who built ALCO as a forum of trust and solidarity, and it is our responsibility to preserve and carry this legacy forward for the future. In conclusion, I wish to convey my deepest gratitude to the governments and people of Uganda for their gracious hospitality, and to all ministers, ambassadors, members of the International Law Commission, director of our Regional Arbitration Center, observer, and distinguished delegates who have traveled from across Asia, Africa, and beyond to join us here in Kampala. Your presence reflects the spirit of solidarity, friendship, and cooperation that has always defined our organization. With your wisdom and active participation, I am confident that this session will be remembered not only for its productive outcome, but also for reaffirming our roles as the collective voice of Asia and Africa in the development of international law. Together, we are preparing this organization to meet the challenge of today and to embrace the opportunities of the next 70 years. Thank you in the spirit of Uganda. Webale nayo. Thank you.
Indeed, Your Excellency, Dr. Kamalin, weebale nnyo n'obwo obugambo obulungi obufaanana bwe butyo. If you can repeat that after me, I've staked my neck and I'll be glad to lose it. Our dear guest of honor, I think it's only fair that I make one or two recognitions, especially of those with whom you are seated. And in a particular order that I'm sure you'll be very fond of, allow me introduce to you the Honorable Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development for the Republic of South Africa, that great lady there by the names of Honorable Mamoloko Nkesani Kubai. I don't know whether it would be in order for me to introduce to you the gentleman to your left, Right Honorable Prime Minister, but I think since I am making introductions, I will proceed and introduce him to you. That is the Venerable Attorney General of the Republic of Uganda, the Honorable Kirioaki Wanuka. And yes, to your immediate right, Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, is the outgoing president of this distinguished session. His was the 63rd, and it was held in Bangkok, Thailand. I have promised that Uganda is going to make a better value proposition than the previous one. So it is my honor and pleasure to introduce Mr. Songai Chaipatiyut. And then, of course, Dr. Kamalin, who has just spoken. But before you, and how important this session has been regarded by the Republic of Uganda, is the presence of distinguished members of the Cabinet of the Republic of Uganda. And in no particular order, allow me introduce the Minister of Foreign Affairs, General Jeje Odong. And he is seated together with his colleague, the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs of the Republic of Uganda, Honorable Norbert Mao. Distinguished delegates in your respective capacities, we just heard the very heartwarming remarks of Dr. Kamalin Pinet Puvadol. He mentioned something that really caught my ear, and I want to draw your attention to it. I would love to know if there is anyone in this room that was present for the 30th session of this organization that sat in Kampala in 1993, and you have returned for today's edition. Anyone who was in the room in 1993 as a delegate or minister that is in the room? Nobody. Okay, those who were alive by then, maybe then I can see a show of hands. Who was alive in 1993 when the Kampala Declaration on Human Rights was issued? Nobody. What I know for a fact is the distinguished gentleman and statesman that the Right Honorable Speaker of Parliament represents today would have gladly been the only person to put his hand up of having been present at that momentous moment. But even what's most heartwarming is that he was present holding the same position as he holds today. And for that, he deserves a hand clap. And this is why, if he hadn't been the same today, this session would probably not have taken place in this beautiful, peaceful, tranquil country, Uganda. Okay, again, make a decision whether you're going to clap or not, then we proceed. Thank you very much. So it's now my singular honor and pleasure to invite the outgoing president of this great session of the Asia-Africa Legislative Cooperation Organization, the Venerable Mr. Songhai Chaipatyut from the Kingdom of Thailand, to come and make his remarks.
Right Honorable Anita Mong, Speaker of the Parliament of Uganda, Honorable Kiriyoba Kiwanuka Sukimamkambi Mugambe, Attorney General of Uganda, Her Excellency Mamaloko Kubai, Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development of the Republic of South Africa, Excellencies Minister of Foreign Affairs and Minister of Justice of Uganda, Excellency Dr. Kamalin Pinit Puvadon, Secretary General of ALCO, Excellencies, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It is my honor on behalf of the Kingdom of Thailand as President of the 62nd session of the Asian African Legal Consultative Organization, or ALCO, to address the 63rd annual session here in Moyunyo, Kampala. I personally extend my heartfelt appreciation to the government and the people of the Republic of Uganda for their generous hospitality and excellent arrangements. It is a privilege to be here among friends. We commend the Secretariat of ALCO for their tireless effort, not only in preparing for this session, but also in sustaining the organization's dynamism between sessions through intersessional meetings and substantive publications, including the Yearbook of ALCO and the Journal of International Law. In particular, we convey our sincere thanks to Secretary General Kamalin Pinit Puvadon for his capable leadership of ALCO over the duration of his term. Thailand firmly supports and wishes him every success in his reappointment. And we are confident that he will continue to guide the organization with vision and dedication in the years ahead. And he has done, as he has done for the past 4 years. Excellencies, nearly 70 years have passed since ALCO was founded, yet its purpose remains ever important. In moments of challenge and transition, it has provided Asia and Africa with a common platform to reaffirm the principles that ensure international relations. Whether confronting the legacies of colonialism, navigating disputes, or fostering reconciliation, ALCO has consistently reminded us that it is a force of law, not the law of force, that charts the path forward. When relations falter, it is international law that steadies. When divisions arise, it is dialogue that restores trust. This is the enduring spirit of Bandung: unity in diversity, solidarity in struggle, and peace as the foundation of progress. Building on that spirit, ALCO has become a channel through which Asian and African voices shape the international legal order. Indeed, international law benefits most when it is informed by the shared practices and perspectives of our regions. In this regard, our agenda at this session will allow us to address and advance critical topics of our time, allowing international law to be a living framework, guiding states through change and challenge alike. The codification of international law by the International Law Commission, for example, must take account of the realities faced by the developing states. On the law of the sea, we must continue to uphold the balance between freedoms of navigation and protection of marine environment, with sustained attention to capacity building. International trade and investment law must evolve to ensure fairness and respect states' right to regulate, as reflected in ongoing reforms of investor-state dispute settlement. On environment and sustainable development, Asian and African participation in the recent advisory opinion of the International Court of Justice has brought perspectives grounded in cooperation, solidarity, and intergenerational equity to the court. For Thailand's part, we deeply value its long-standing friendship with ALCO. We became its 9th member in 1961, just 6 years after the Bandung Conference. And over the decades, we have had the privilege of hosting ALCO 3 times, most recently in Bangkok last year. The Krungthep Declaration adopted at the session reaffirmed our common commitment to enhance the rule of law, to strengthen Asian African leadership, and to engage youth and future generations in shaping international law. We are gratified to see this spirit carried forward in Kampala. Thailand's contributions to ALCO reflect the legacy of the distinguished jurists such as Professor Dr. Sompong Sucharit-kun, former president of the International Law Commission. His leadership as a jurist, diplomat, and advisor to ALCO helped shape the organization's legal foundations and enhance its role in Asia and Africa. I also wish to recognize Dr. Vilawan Mankalathana-kun, our member of the International Law Commission, for her role in advancing the international law. Her close collaboration with ALCO, including through a recent webinar on investment law, has brought valuable regional perspectives to the global legal discourse and strengthened ties between the ILC and ALCO. A key milestone in our engagement was the 2021 election of Dr. Kamalin Pinitpuwadon as ALCO's first Thai Secretary General. His leadership has enhanced ALCO's relevance and effectiveness. Thailand is proud to support his reappointment for the second term from 2026 to 2029. Today, as we hand over the presidency to our brothers and sisters of Uganda, we do so with confidence, Uganda has been a steadfast partner, ably serving as Vice President at the Bangkok session, and is well placed to guide ALCO with wisdom, balance, and resolve. In this handover, we leave three hopes for Kampala. First, continuity with purpose. We hope that our work be guided by the Krungthep Declaration, strengthening ALCO as a platform for dialogue and capacity building, and amplifying our perspectives in global fora. Second, cooperation and collaboration. We hope that member states share best practices and experiences, thereby enriching the effective implementation of international legal norms. Third, practical outcomes. We hope that Kampala advances concrete steps which member states can use, dissemination and appreciation of international law from Asian African perspectives, sharing of best practices on mutual legal assistance, particularly in the context of asset recovery, continued progress on investment law reform, and constructive exchanges feeding directly into our work in the 6th Committee of the UNGA and beyond. Excellencies, from Bangkok to Kampala, the torch of ALCO's presidency passes in the Bandung spirit, with friendship and solidarity. I'm confident that the next few days will be filled with fruitful dialogue, and that our deliberations will strengthen ALCO's voice in shaping a just and inclusive international legal order. In this session, we reaffirm and renew our commitment to multilateralism and to the international rule of law. The work we do here will carry the flame of the Bandung spirit higher still, not only guide the future of international law, but also serve the well-being of our nations and the generations yet to come. Thailand thanks Uganda once again for her gracious welcome. We wish all delegations a productive session and the Kampala presidency every success. Thank you. Webale.
Distinguished delegates, especially those from Uganda, we can be a little more generous with our claps. Mr. Outgoing President, thank you very much for those very reassuring words, but also challenging conversation that you put on the table. The only thing I can assure you of is the right ears are in this room. More so, the pair of ears right to your left. She is the head of our Legislative Assembly. That is the place where the laws in Uganda are made, and that's where the progress of progressive laws, both domestic and international, will certainly see the day of light. I don't intend to preempt her speech, but that I can tell you without fear of contradiction that the right ears have heard. When I said earlier on that Uganda braces itself to offer a better value proposition than where we were, it was not pour cold water on your efforts in hosting this incredible 62nd edition of ALCO. But it's simply to say there couldn't have been a better location than having the 63rd at a location right at the center of the earth by the shores of the freshest water lake in the world, but also most importantly, a place where the sun shines every single day of every year. And on many days, you can have all the climates that you have in different months in one day. That it is winter in the morning, like it was about 5 a.m. where I live. It's a bit of summer, like right about now. It may get a bit old to me after lunch, just allow you enjoy the after lunch rhythm. And then another kind of spring towards the sunset. But if you also get a moment to step out of this room when you are done with the serious hard stuff, you may wish to explore the beauty of our country, Don't stop at looking at beautiful landscapes by pictures in this room. This is available for you to see with your own eyes, to feel with your own hands, and to taste with your own tongue. Talking about taste, I will later be inviting you for a tea break. That you will have both coffee, the best coffee you can ever find in the world, peppered with some milk. And like I told delegates earlier on, that milk was in its cow's udder this morning. It never gets fresher. Now that said, someone has sent me here a note to remind me that I am not as distinguished as I think because of what I am. I am no legal brain, and so what I lack in legal mental sophistication, I try to compensate in form. At least I try to dress like you. So that's why I have this bow tie on me, so that I know you'll forget what I have said if it doesn't anger you, but at least you'll never forget what I looked like. And so it's at this point that I invite a more apt person to take over from me, who will do the honors of carrying us to the next more important part of our program. Now, legal cooperation, as you have the word cooperation in your name, I am told is like a good joke. It brings people together and makes complex things seem simpler. If you thought you found me anything close to humorous, then you haven't met humor until you meet the Venerable Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs of the Republic of Uganda, Honorable Norbert Mao. With that said, sir, it's my humble pleasure to invite you to step forward. Don't crack a joke. Welcome all of us officially to the Pearl of Africa and do what best you know how. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Simon. Our guest of honor, the Right Honorable Speaker of the Republic of Uganda, the learned Attorney General, the Honorable Kiriwa Kiwanuka, Attorney General of the Republic of Uganda, my colleague, the Foreign Minister of Uganda, General J.J. Odong, who in 1993 was Chief of Logistics and Engineering in our army. At that time, the Attorney General was a teenager. I had graduated from university. The Honorable Mamaloko Kubai, Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development of South Africa, the President of the 62nd session of ALCO, the Secretary General of ALCO, Dr. Kamalin Pinit Puvadol. I'm here to bridge, to take you through the next level, which is the level of the President of Uganda, here represented by none other than the Right Honorable Speaker. In the morning, the head of delegation from Somalia asked, "Where is the President? We're expecting him to speak to us." Our President is well known for offering very broad perspectives about the struggles of oppressed people. And that's why all of you, I'm sure, will miss seeing him. But believe me, I had a phone call with our guest of honor, the Speaker, and she told me that she's carrying the President's speech. So even though the President is not here in person, you are going to hear his own words on these situations. Let me say a few things before I invite our guest of honor. And I start with the words of the president of the 62nd session. He said Uganda has been a steadfast partner. We are in a very tough neighborhood as Uganda. We are a small country, but we have never been afraid to take a stand and to fight for what we believe in. We also acknowledge that solidarity is at the center of all our policies. We have benefited from solidarity. For instance, one time we needed Tanzania to help us free ourselves from tyranny. But at the same time, when South Africa was facing oppression due to the apartheid system, we were not afraid to take a stand and host those who were determined to overthrow that oppressive system. As I talk now, our president leads the non-aligned movement. We have not been afraid to even defend our ideas with the force of arms. We have not been afraid to stand with other countries. If you go to Addis Ababa and you see at the Julius Nyerere Center, there is a wall which has the list of names of people who have died in peacekeeping operations. The majority are Ugandans. We don't boast about it because that's who we are. This morning, I told the Attorney General that this gathering of the 63rd annual session of ALCO is probably the largest gathering on legal issues since 2010, when we hosted the review conference of the Rome Statute. Again, when the Rome Statute was enacted, we took a stand. But we didn't stop there. We established our own International Crimes Division. And I hope there will be an opportunity for our delegation to share with you what we are doing under that International Crimes Division, which has tried terrorists, including those of Al-Shabaab, to show that we believe in international law. I'm here as head of the Ugandan delegation, but your chief host is the Attorney General, who is my neighbor at the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. The Attorney General gave a press conference to all Ugandans to tell them what this meeting is about. Normally, people are not excited by meetings of lawyers. They think we speak a language they don't understand. They think we only talk to ourselves. And somehow, everybody thinks that the concepts we talk about really don't matter. But the Attorney General explained, and I was pleased to see in our national newspaper, The New Vision, a very good coverage of what this meeting is about. And the Attorney General said, this meeting is about shared legal perspectives. That one everybody understood. He said this is a platform for us to discuss, but not to stop at discussing. We must influence global legal trends from here. He had to explain what ALCO is about, and in his own words, when he was asked why was Uganda selected, let me quote what he said. Uganda's selection as host reflects growing international recognition of our commitment to multilateral diplomacy, international law, and South-South cooperation. But he also told Ugandans the benefits to the country of this meeting. For instance, our profile will be raised. The delegations that are here will improve their expertise. But there's also what we don't talk about, economic and tourism opportunities. Uganda's lawyers are going to be able to engage with experts so that they can broaden their expertise in international law. We are here, as the MC said, at this world-class venue. It means we have capacity to organize high-level international events. And it means that we are not just about defending our rights, but we are also about diplomatic engagement. Since our president is the chair of the non-aligned movement, so Uganda is strategically placed to champion these issues that are relevant to developing countries. We believe that this conference is very timely given the kind of world in which we live. I thank you, Learned Attorney General, for doing the job of a step-down transformer, because legal issues normally are high voltage. You were able to step down so that Ugandans can realize that this meeting is not a small meeting. On behalf of the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, I wish to welcome all delegates to Uganda. The bigger welcome is going to come from the representative of the president. I'm convinced that at the end of these deliberations, there will be decisions and recommendations that will help to shape a better world. But more importantly, we hope to go back to our own countries and tell people that international law matters. Many people think international law does not matter until you are taken to a small room at an airport. That's when you realize that international law matters. That's when you have to assert what they call the Vienna Convention. Some of us who carry diplomatic passports, we have to defend our rights at airports. Sometimes you arrive when the country is not aware that you are arriving, and they have to interview you. Right now, certain countries are getting nervous about foreigners. Fortunately, as Uganda, we are hosting close to 2 million refugees. We used to be refugees, so we understand the need for compassion in international relations. Therefore, let's be tough-minded as lawyers, but when making decisions, let us have soft hearts. That's the kind of person I believe our president is. He has a very tough mind, but he has a soft heart. It appears to be a contradiction in terms, but life is about thesis and antithesis. It's now my honor to invite the Right Honorable Speaker of the Republic of Uganda to deliver the President's address. Madam Speaker.
The outgoing president of Asia Africa Legal Consultative Organization, ALCO, the vice president of ALCO, which is held by Uganda, the representatives of governments of the member states, honorable ministers who are present here, the Secretary General and the entire Secretariat of ALCO, distinguished delegates and guests. It is my singular honor to welcome you to Uganda for the 63rd annual session of Asia Africa Legal Consultative Organization, ALCO. As you've already been notified, my name's Anita Annette Among, AAA. I am the Speaker of Parliament of Uganda, and I stand before you this morning to represent the head of state, His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who is unable to be with us due to hereto unforeseen and equally urgent commitments. The President's decision to assign me this representative role is a testimony to the effective complementarily of our three arms of government. We have executive, legislature, and judiciary, and we work closely together, but we also respect separation of powers. I want to thank you for choosing Uganda as the venue for this session, and I'm sure by the time you leave Uganda, you will have enjoyed, and I'm happy you can even speak some language, some words in our language now. I was very impressed, and I want to thank the Attorney General that is doing a good job. I recognize the strategic platform for international cooperation that ALCO provides as a mechanism for inter-regional cooperation, especially at the time when the world is faced with exceptional questions of international laws and morality arising from wars in Gaza, the recent military affront on the Islamic Republic of Iran, and the flashpoints in the Middle East, and the refugee crisis in Africa, among others. And I am happy that the ministers cited that Uganda has a very good policy on refugees. And we want to thank our president for the refugee policy in Uganda. It is my hope that in your deliberations here, will at the end of the day have very good positive impact that you'll have come with after the discussions today. And as legislature, we want to promise you our unwavering support to ALCO. I now want to seek your indulgence to deliver the speech of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda. I take this opportunity to welcome all of you, the esteemed delegates and observers, taking part in the 63rd session of Africa Legal Consultative Organization, ALCO. Uganda last hosted ALCO in 1993. Uganda is proud to host this annual session of ALCO and wish to reaffirm our commitment to the organization's objectives as a member state of ALCO. The annual session is an opportunity for the member states to shape its ideas, forge consensus, and chart the course for our collective efforts for the year ahead. ALCO is a product of a historic Bandar Conference of 1955. It was founded by the 7 nations: Burma, now Myanmar; Ceylon, which is now Sri Lanka; India; Indonesia; Iraq; Japan, and Syria. It has grown to include 49 member states, representing nearly all the member nations of our 2 continents. This growth reflects the trust and the relevance of ALCO that it commands as a platform for legal cooperation. The Bandang spirit continues to inspire us. It reminds us that our continents, once marginalized in the global legal order, have the power to shape international law to reflect our values, our aspirations, and realities. Indeed, in this regard, the ALCO has made immense contribution from law of the sea to human rights, trade and investments to environmental protection. ALCO has been instrumental in ensuring that Africa and Asia are not just participants, but leaders in the global legal discourse. Distinguished delegates, ALCO continues to serve as advisory body to its member states, a forum for deliberation on legal matters of common concern and bridge to communicate our collective positions to the United Nations, the International Law Commission, and other global institutions. I commend the Secretary General for keeping cordial relations with these international organizations and actively participating in their various activities. It is through this that ALCO is able to keep a significant presence at the international scene, and thus our presence and contributions cannot be ignored. As we gather here today, we face a world of unprecedented challenges. Climate change threatens our ecosystem and livelihoods. Conflicts and insecurity test our stability. Economic inequalities strain our societies. Rapid technological advancement, from artificial intelligence to cybersecurity, raise complex legal questions that demand our attention. In this context, ALCO's role is more crucial than ever before. ALCO is uniquely positioned to ensure that Asia and Africa do not merely react to global legal developments, but actively shape them to reflect our priorities. Notably, sustainable development, sovereignty, and justice. These priorities are in line with ALCO's mandate as outlined in the statute. That is, 1, to serve as an advisory body on international law. 2, to facilitate cooperation on legal matters. 3, to deliberate on issues referred by member states and to communicate our collective views to the global institutions. Over the years, ALCO has addressed a wide range of topics, from the law of the sea and diplomatic relations to human rights, environmental law and international law. Its contribution to United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, including concepts like exclusive economic zone and its role in shaping the Vienna Convention on the Law of Treaties, demonstrates its impact on global legal framework. Today, ALCO's agenda remains as relevant as ever, tackling issues such as climate change, the protection of migrant workers, the fight against transitional crime, and the legal implications of emerging technologies. By fostering dialogue and coordinating positions, ALCO ensures that our continent's perspectives are not only heard, but integrated into the global legal order. As we embark on this session, let's seize the opportunity of strengthening ALCO's impact through the member states on the continents of Africa and Asia. I wish to urge the ALCO Secretariat to anchor its work onto the following pillars for continuous growth from strength to strength. 1, strengthening member engagement. This will ensure respect for diversity and inclusivity. 2, enhance legal capacity. This will support our nations in building the expertise and institutional frameworks needed to participate effectively in international lawmaking, ensuring that the legal systems are robust and responsive. 3, promoting inclusivity in global governance. This will facilitate advocacy for stronger representation of Asia and Africa perspective in international legal fora, ensuring that our values, aspirations, and perspectives are reflected in the global frameworks. 4, addressing emerging issues. This will foster constructive dialogue to develop legal frameworks. 5, addressing emerging issues. This will foster constructive, I think this is a repetition. Finally, I wish to emphasize that our shared history of struggle, resilience, and triumphance binds us together. Our shared future of peace, prosperity, and justice depends on our ability to work together. Let us therefore renew the Bandung spirit, reaffirm our solidarity, and strengthen our collective voice. I wish you a productive deliberations as a memorable stay in the Pearl of Africa. May our work here advance ALCO's mission and pave a way for a more just and equitable world. signed by His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of Republic of Uganda. Thank you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker of the Parliament of Uganda. It's only fair that we remain upstanding so that we go through the formalities of the anthems. But before that, housekeeping announcement. After this, after the anthems, heads of delegation, you will come, guided by protocol, to the stairway of this magnificent hall for the group picture. The rest of us will now break into the tea break that I talked about. And when the tea break is done in 30 minutes, since we'll have now the beginning of some closed-door sessions, only member states delegates will be required to return to this room, and the rest will be guided on where your next session is. The anthems. Oh, excuse me. I am guided differently. Let's take our seats. May I request Honorable Norbert Mao, you can see what I talked about earlier on. May you please take the podium again to take us through yet another bit of the conversation. Thank you very much.
You know, people love power. The MC took away my power. He handed over to me, then he took back the power. After the speech by our guest of honor, representing the President of Uganda, it is only befitting that the President and our guest of honor receive a vote of thanks on behalf of all of us delegates. This vote of thanks will be delivered by a head of delegation, and it is my honor to introduce her. The Honorable Mamoloko Kubai, the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development of South Africa, is amply qualified to deliver the vote of thanks. Many of you have heard of Soweto. Now here you have somebody from Soweto itself. We have been talking about struggle. There's no country that has exemplified the spirit of struggle more than South Africa. And those of you who may not know her profile, her own life, in fact, is similar to the life of our guest of honor, the Right Honorable Speaker, of rising from below and emerging on top. She sits on the top organ of the ruling party of South Africa, the National Executive Committee, just like our guest of honor, who is now the deputy to our president, deputy of the National Resistance Movement. She has been a member of the South African legislature since 2009. And she has held various portfolios, some of which are totally unrelated to the law, like tourism, for instance, human settlements. She has been there. And her life and the life of the country she represents here speaks of struggle. Those of you who know the Bible know the story of David and Goliath. It's a bit like South Africa. It's a bit like the world in which we live today. The South versus North is a bit like David and Goliath. It is said that when David went to the front line, the generals were shivering because of the size of Goliath. And they told him off that if generals are retreating, who do you think you are? A mere shepherd. And he told them in the form of one question, is there a cause? And that's the question all those who are in struggle must keep asking. Is there a cause? If your cause is just, then it doesn't matter the strength of your arms. It is a matter of time. And no country exemplifies that more than South Africa, and no person exemplifies that journey more than the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development of South Africa. I wish to invite you to give a vote of thanks to our guest of honor. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Honorable Norbert Mao, the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs in the Republic of Uganda. Greetings, Your Excellency, the Speaker of Parliament of the Republic of Uganda, the Right Honorable Anita Amang, representing the people and government of the Republic of Uganda, known as the Pearl of Africa for its exceptional natural beauty, abundant wildlife, and lush greenery. We are truly honored to be hosted in this beautiful nation, Madam Speaker. Deputy Director General, Mr. Song Chai Patud, representing the President of the 62nd session of ALCO, the Kingdom of Thailand. His Excellency Dr. Gamalin Binit Buvadol, Secretary General of ALCO, Attorney General of the Republic of Uganda, Honorable Kiwanuka, host countries, ministers who are here, honorable ministers from different countries, both in Africa and Asia, attorney generals, distinguished delegates, observers, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a privilege and honor on behalf of the Republic of South Africa, Vice President of the 61st Annual Session of ALCO, to deliver this vote of thanks at the inaugural session of the 63rd Annual Session here in Kampala. I extend my profound appreciation to the Right Honorable Madam Speaker Anita Among for the inspiring and insightful inaugural address on behalf of His Excellency, President of the Republic of Uganda, which has provided valuable guidance and set the tone for the deliberations of this session. I also wish to express heartfelt gratitude to the government and the people of the Republic of Uganda, our generous host, for their warm hospitality and the excellent arrangements that have ensured the success of this important gathering. Excellencies, I wish to acknowledge with deep appreciation the leadership of His Excellency, Dr. Camille Binit Buvadol, Secretary General of ALCO, whose tireless efforts and the dedication of his team have been central in advancing the work of our organization. South Africa commends his commitment to strengthening ALCO's role as the principal legal advisory body for Africa and Asia. As Vice President of the 61st Annual Session, South Africa recalls with pride the deliberation under Indonesia's presidency that enriched the organization's work program with important new topics, including the Asset Recovery Expert Forum and the legal aspects of outer spaces activities. These editions reflected the evolving priorities of our member states and reaffirmed the organization's relevance in addressing both long-standing and emerging issues in international law. South Africa itself has had the honor of highlighting South Africa's vital role within the organization. For South Africa, ALCO remains an indispensable platform to address contemporary challenges in international law that directly affect our regions, such as cyber law and the UN Cybercrime Convention, the challenges of climate change and sea level rise, the reform of investor-state dispute settlements, as well as asset recovery and anti-corruption frameworks. We remain firmly committed to supporting ALCO's unique role in amplifying the collective voice of Asia and Africa, and in shaping the progressive development, strengthening multilateralism, collaboration, and codification of international law. I also wish to extend my sincere appreciation to the Kingdom of Thailand, President of the 62nd Annual Session, for its dedicated leadership and valuable contribution to our organization. On behalf of South Africa and the Africa, warm welcome and excellent arrangements in hosting this 63rd Annual Session. Madam Speaker, pass our appreciation to His Excellency, the President. Finally, let me convey my heartfelt gratitude to honorable ministers, attorney generals, heads of delegation, distinguished delegates, and observers for your active participation and looking forward to valuable contribution. It is your continued engagement and commitment that ensures ALCOS remains the collective voice of Asia and Africa in the progressive development of international law. Asante sana.
Now, distinguished delegates, I may as well assume the power as should have and request humbly that we all get upstanding for the anthems. Thank you. Thank you very much, the Uganda Police Band. And as announced earlier, we are now proceeding to have the group photo for the session, and it will be held at the stairway of this magnificent hall. It will comprise of the dignitaries at the foyer and heads of delegation. The rest of us, let's break away for a tea break, and only member states will be required to reconvene here in 30 minutes. I thank you.
As earlier reminded to you by our distinguished MC during the inaugural session, this meeting is open to member states only. May I request the observer, non-member states and international organizations to rejoin us after lunch for the first meeting at around 2:30 until further notice. To check whether every observers and non-member have been out. Okay. I would like to call the first meeting of delegations of our core member states to order. We will be going through some organizational, administrative, and financial matters. And this will continue until the program. What about this one? Is that enough? Okay. Okay, you hear me? Everybody hear me? No. Hello, this one is better. Okay, I will use this one. Thank you, Secretariat. So again, I would like to call the first meeting of delegations of our core member states to order. And we will going through some organizational, administrative, and financial matters. The first item is the adoption of provisional agenda and tentative schedule of meetings and events. These documents were circulated earlier by the Secretariat, and I hope that all of you have received it. The provisional agenda is placed before all the heads of delegation for adoption. It needs to be mentioned that the provisional agenda has been finalized in consultation with member states. We also have 10 substantive topics, namely 1. Report on matters related to the work of the International Law Commission, ILC, at its 76th session. 2. The law of the sea. 3. Environment and sustainable development. 4. Violations of international law in Palestine and other occupied territories by Israel and other international legal issues related to the question of Palestine. 5. Legal issues in outer space. 6. International trade and investment law. 7. Asset recovery expert forum. 8. Legal protection of migrant workers. 9. Prohibition of aggression and use of force in international law. 10. Violations of international law by the Rapid Support Forces in Sudan. I understand that the Secretary General has discussed and reached consensus on the provisional agenda with the heads of delegations of the member states yesterday at the formal meeting of head of delegations. If there are no further comments, then we shall consider as adopted the agenda and schedule of meetings and events. Thank you. We will move to the next agenda item. The next agenda item is admission of new member states. I will now invite the Secretary General to brief us about the issue.
Thank you, Mr. President. No new member state. Thank you. Oh, sorry. We have the Republic of Djibouti join us this year in the first quarter of 2025. Thank you.
Hello. Okay. Thank you. I see that the head of delegation of Djibouti is here. Okay, is here. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Secretary General. May I now request the distinguished delegates of the delegation of the Republic of Djibouti to say a few words on this momentous occasion, if they so wish, please.
Thank you. Mr. President, Mr. Secretary General, distinguished delegates of ALCO member states, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted and honored to attend the 63rd annual session of ALCO on behalf of my country, the Republic of Djibouti, as we join this unique and important organization. To the government of Uganda for their warm hospitality. Djibouti's decision to join ALCO is rooted in our strong commitment to multilateralism and to the collective advancement of international law. At a time when the world is grappling with global challenges from climate change, armed conflicts, emerging technologies and threats, it is increasingly critical to strengthen international legal frameworks that impact us. We sincerely appreciate the support of all member states in officially welcoming us and recognize ALCO Secretariat's steadfast efforts in promoting legal cooperation among member states. Their support is encouraging research, dialogue, and consensus building is invaluable. On behalf of my country, allow me to reiterate our strong commitment to the values and goals of ALCO. Djibouti stands ready to work with all member states to promote peaceful cooperation, strengthen international law, and foster a legal order aligned with the interests of our African and Asian states. I thank you.
Thank you very much, distinguished head of delegation of the Republic of Djibouti. Let's welcome the presence of the Republic of Djibouti with a round of applause again. Well, as of the order, I see no other state is applying for new membership at this session, so this agenda item is passed. Let's move to the next one. The next agenda item is admission of observers. I have been informed that some non-member states and some international organizations have requested to attend this annual session as observers. Now I request the Secretary General to read out the list of observers.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. We have one non-member state, Russian Federation. And for the inter-organization as observer, we have the...
Thank you, Mr. Secretary General. I think that there should be no objections for their participation. I see none as of now. Let us admit them as observers to the 63rd annual session of ALCO, and they will join us this afternoon. Let's move to the next item. It's a very important one. is the election of the vice president, of the president and the vice president for the 63rd session. The next item, this item we will take up first the election of the president of the current session. Is there any expression of intervention at this stage? I see Chairman who wish to have the floor. The floor is yours, Chairman.
Thank you, Chair. On behalf of the government of Japan, I'd like to propose Mr. Kiryowa Kiwanuka, Attorney General of the Republic of Uganda, for the President for the 63rd Annual Session of ALCO.
Any second? Second? Oh, Egypt, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Allow me first to congratulate you on your chairmanship and presidency of last year.
I see no further intervention in the room. Let us congratulate His Excellency Mr. Kiryowa Kiwanuka, Attorney General of the Republic of Uganda, for his election as the President of the 63rd Annual Session. Congratulations. We now turn to the election of the Vice President of the 63rd Annual Session of ALCO. Any interest of, I see Mauritius, sir.
Mr. Chairman, good morning and thank you for giving me the floor. First of all, I would like to congratulate you in the professional manner that you are holding this session and the proceedings. Second, I would like to congratulate Uganda for being elected as the president of the 63rd session. Now I have the honor to propose the Republic of Philippines as the vice president for this 63rd session. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ambassador, for the nomination. Is it India? Okay, India, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The delegation of India seconds the proposal to nominate Her Excellency Mary Charlotte G. Tang, Ambassador of Philippines to Kenya, as Vice President of this session. Thank you.
Thank you, India. So now, any more intervention from the floor? I see none. So let us congratulate Madam Mary